This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Starting off rainy out there, but get ready for just about everything today.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of action.
Yeah, the only thing we don't get is thunderstorms today, which I'm honestly not complaining about. For those of you heading out this morning, we are seeing the rain moving gradually to the south. So Indiana, you are much drier right now, but we're still seeing a little bit of those showers holding on into the very southern portions of Floyd County, so basically towards New Albany, and for those of you south of Corydon as well. The metro still locked in with the light rainfall from Carrollton all the way south towards Mumfordville and Columbia. Yeah, you're seeing that light to moderate rain with a little bit of that heavier rainfall now showing up in parts of Marion, parts of Taylor, and parts of Greene County. Everybody's sitting in the 40s right now, so that's how the morning is going to go. We're going to stay in the 40s, but this afternoon, this is when we start to see a little bit more of those temperatures falling down into the 30s across our region, and that will be the catalyst for our rain switching over to a little bit of snow. Notice our rain chances do drop off as we get towards lunch, but then once we get into the afternoon, more of that rain moves in, that switches to snow, and we're going to keep some scattered snow showers in the forecast through the evening. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much. At 7:01, it is a soggy start to your Wednesday morning. Good morning to you. This is your best friend out there. Make sure you have the windshield wipers on and your umbrella handy. You're going to need it throughout the duration of the day. But the good part, no major slowdowns or tie-ups this morning. We do have a couple little areas of red right around you see there on Fern Creek and also near Shively and up around New Albany. So those are some areas that we're keeping an eye on for potential backups. But otherwise, things looking pretty good. Your drive time is right there. Not too bad right now. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the morning. Back over to you.
Thank you. Today, businesses near the UPS crash site will be granted 24-hour access to their buildings.
This is the first time in 10 weeks city leaders have provided this opportunity. One business owner tells us today will be a huge step towards normalcy. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke joining us live with the impact today will have on businesses in that area. Marissa?
Yeah, some of the companies that have been impacted by the crash for 10 weeks include Century Steel, Reddens Maintenance, Best Deal Dumpster, and Quantum Inc. Business owners tell us that now it's a race to make up the money that they've lost in this time. Adam Bland, president and CEO of Quantum Inc., says his business lost more than $1 million since the crash happened near his building. Up until now, his employees have had limited access to their building. Following the crash, Bland says those first 2 weeks were difficult. Bland says today is phase one of returning to normal.
Like a series of phases of going through different parts, whether it was the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., the freezing cold when we didn't have gas and electric, then hitting those milestones and getting gas and electric back in the facility, and then the hours getting to be more what they could be. And then we've slowly shut down these 5 facilities that we were running otherwise. So it's just been a process of bringing it all back in.
Now, some people may be curious of what the site looks like now, but the 24-hour access is limited to business owners and employees. Metro leaders say they are working on a plan for customers and deliveries in the area, but as of right now, this access is just for the business owners and employees. Reporting live, Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Thank you, Marissa. We've learned what led to a mother being shot and killed at a downtown Louisville McDonald's on New Year's Eve. Shoshana Jones is charged with murder, robbery, and being a felon with a gun. An arrest report claims Jones was upset after a child dinged her car door in the parking lot outside of the restaurant. Police say she started arguing with the child's mother before pulling out a gun and shooting Mayra Rodriguez Munoz, a Navy veteran, according to her obituary. Police found Jones's ID on the ground next to one of the shell casings. Jones is expected to be arraigned this morning at 9. In the rush of new policies for lawmakers to debate, a state representative from Louisville hopes his bill to raise Kentucky's minimum wage makes the final cut.
The bill hasn't been successful when previously introduced, but Representative Daniel Grossberg says with the cost of living only getting higher, he thinks it's worth trying again. Right now, Kentucky's minimum wage is the same as the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour. It hasn't been raised since 2009. If the bill Grossberg filed passes, the minimum wage would go up to $9.50 an hour immediately, then $11 the next year, and by 2030, it would be up to $15 an hour.
I believe in the free market, but the free market relies upon the belief that everyone's in the same negotiating position. And there are some people who can't say no to a job. And if we don't set a minimum standard, I just don't think that they're going to make enough money.
Measures to raise the minimum wage have been filed in both the House and the Senate.
And there's more policy action in Frankfurt we're watching. Kentucky House Democrats are pushing back against a Republican-led plan to eliminate the state's income tax. Republican lawmakers say the rate has already dropped to 3.5%, with further reductions planned as long as the state meets specific financial guidelines. House Democrats are proposing two alternative tax plans. The first would gradually increase income tax rates for Kentuckians in the mid-range to upper-range income brackets, with rates varying based on income levels. The second plan targets only the top 5% of Kentucky earners. One other bill could restrict the use of the Kentucky National Guard outside of the Commonwealth. The proposal restricts the use of guardsmen outside of state active duty unless Congress officially declares war. Supporters say guardsmen already do enough here at home.
We've had a lot of natural disasters in Kentucky alone, and our National Guard is critical in how they've responded to it. And so we just want to make sure that when something like that happens, that they're here to help.
The bill would also allow Kentucky's governor to deploy the National Guard to assist with U.S. border protection for a maximum of 30 days.
City leaders are considering action to limit 18-wheelers from traveling on some Louisville neighborhood streets. The city's Department of Transportation is working to develop a freight mobility action plan. This could limit large trucks from entering areas that cause congestion or other problems. Members of the Limerick Neighborhood Association say they've seen the problem directly, and they want city leaders to create appropriate routes for large truck drivers.
Our neighborhood predates the interstate. Our neighborhood predates modern construction of roadways. You know, we have dirt, bricks, a few layers of asphalt, and a 25,000 plus truck traveling on it 100 times a day. That's vibrating our houses. It's shaking window panes loose. It's creating unsafe conditions for our neighborhoods.
The Department of Transportation is hosting another input session tonight at the Americana World Community Center on Southside Drive. That starts at 6 o'clock. We've also linked a public survey that's open through the end of the month with this story on wave3.com.
Well, a lot of people start off the new year with a resolution that includes maybe losing weight, and a new tool is really gaining popularity.
Now, we're talking about GLP-1s, but there are factors people need to know before starting them. Rob Wells is back with details. Rob?
Yeah, and Olivia, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, those are just a few of the big name medications on the market that have helped people lose weight and get into better overall health over the past few years. Medical experts say while they're a tool in your journey, they are not the sole answer. Those prescription medications should only be taken under strict supervision by your physician. And don't forget, doctors say that other key factors like good nutrition and regular exercise are part of the equation. I caught up with a nurse practitioner from Norton Healthcare who says she's seeing the medications are becoming easier to obtain through online services.
The problem comes when people who are getting these drugs through some of these online pharmacies and compounding and whatnot, they might take it upon themselves to alter this dosing on their own. Kind of choosing to, play with the doses in order to stretch their buck, essentially.
And Truman said that can result in potential pitfalls like gastroparesis, which is a severe slowing of the stomach, which can actually include bowel obstructions. She said that can land people in the hospital. She stresses always speak with your physician about what is best for you and your overall health. Truman added that while prices of injectables have been cost prohibitive in the past, some products like Wegovy and Rybelsus are now being offered in a less expensive capsule format. Bottom line, the options are growing. You need to do your homework. Back over to you.
Thank you, Rob. It's 7:09, and with more winter weather coming, you might want to find something to do indoors.
One spot in Louisville is getting you active, taking you up in the air, flipping you upside down, doing all kinds of crazy things. We'll show you how to join the fun next.
800,000 fewer people signed up for Obamacare coverage through early January compared to the same period last year. The federal government reports 22.8 million people signed up through January 3rd, compared to 23.6 million through the same period last year. The decline comes as the expiration of enhanced premium subsidies in December pushed up premiums. The federal government has offered the enhanced subsidies since 2021. On average, the expiration has doubled the price of premiums. It is not too late to sign up. You can still enroll in plans through tomorrow.
A hopeful milestone in the fight against cancer was revealed as new data shows 7 in 10 people in the United States now survive at least 5 years after a cancer diagnosis. That's according to the American Cancer Society's latest annual report. By comparison, in the 1970s, only about half of cancer patients lived 5 years or longer. Doctors say the 5-year mark is critical as the risk of many cancers returning drops significantly at that point. Advances in treatment mean many cancers are now being managed as chronic diseases rather than death sentences they once were.
We're still settling into the new year, and a lot of people are looking for some new activities to get into.
And if that's you, why not try something unique like circus fitness classes? Suspend in Butchertown offers trapeze, silks, and rope classes. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote gave it a shot this morning.
All right, I'm here at Suspend Louisville, and I am in one of the hoops here. So we're doing aerial circus classes. It's a fun way to get moving, maybe even try a new hobby in 2026. And I'm here with Kara, and you're going to walk me into a trick here, we might call it. So tell me what I should do here.
So you've already got your hands in the proper position. You're going to push against the hoop. You'll feel it shift under your body. Walk your hands back until you can feel the hoop pressing against your shoulder, and then bring your feet up into the inside.
Wrong one. Should I start with this one?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And then bring your other foot in and press. You're kind of wedging yourself in the hoop. Yeah. And let your head come to one side, and then you're good to go. Would you like maybe a little spin?
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. So this is part of your introductory classes, and there's so many classes and so many styles here too. And I know we're going to show some of those people that are doing some other really cool stuff. And you're talking, you know, it's like you're a toddler. You're just learning new tricks and stuff like that. But it's not intimidating at all.
No, it's totally approachable. We literally start from the ground and work our way up. So you don't have to be super strong. You build strength by doing it. As you can see, we've got people climbing the silks up in the hoop on trapeze. We also do groundwork. If you don't want to get up in the air, that's okay. We can do things in the ground too.
Definitely.
As you can see, but we've got silks, we've got sling, we've got trapeze, we've got hoop. It's a great workout for your mind too. Just by being up in the air, it's like you're learning how to do something completely new.
For sure. And you're kind of like, you're tricking yourself into working out because you're kind of talking about this. Yes. Some people might like to do adult coloring books, but others might like to do things where they're upside down and whatnot.
Yes, absolutely. It's like being at the playground. So it kind of takes you back to that playful place in your brain of being a kid, that sense of freedom and moving your body.
Oh my gosh, that is so intricate.
Yes,
wow.
Beautiful.
Working on strength and flexibility too.
Absolutely.
So if people want to get involved, how can they do that?
So we've got a whole list of classes. The best way to start would be either with our Intro to Aerials program, which is a 4-class prerequisite for any leveled apparatus class, or if you just want to try it out and don't want a commitment, we've got a class called Cirque Sampler. It's a drop-in. You just come in. Anybody can do it. It's all very approachable stuff, as you experience in your camera person experience.
Definitely. I love
it. We start by standing on the silks, but you're still up in the air, and you just drop in. We try out different things.
Take a look. Oh, wow. Yeah. Sweet. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Back to you.
Looks like it would stretch you out so much. It feels so good.
Sounds so good. I mean, I understand why people woke up at 6 o'clock to do that this morning too, because that's a good morning stretch.
That is a great morning stretch. And for anybody maybe trying to do something a little bit more active later on today, hey, the indoor activities are definitely the way to go. Here comes a cold front. This is going to bring some more of that rain and eventually some more of that snow into our forecast. We're just dealing with the rain as of right now. So this first front continuing to push through our area this morning. We're seeing that rainfall all across the metro, but as we head over the next hour to 2 hours, we'll watch the rain moving out of Louisville. We'll also see more of that rain from parts of Carroll County down towards Columbia and over into Hardinsburg. Peeking into E-Town, you got the wet roads to start off the day as we continue to monitor more of that rain falling in your area too. Everybody's sitting in the 40s this morning, and that is where temperatures look to stay for the morning hours. But then we see that front moving through for later on this afternoon. That's going to help to drop your temperatures down into the 30s and switch a lot of that rain over to snow. We'll also keep an eye on the wind gusting to near 30 miles per hour as we get into later on this afternoon. And we'll keep things pretty breezy as we head through the evening as well. Let's talk a little bit more about the rainfall that we're dealing with right now. Yes, it's going to sink to the south throughout the morning hours. By lunch, a lot of us drier, but then we head into later on this afternoon. Here comes some additional scattered rain showers, but with temperatures falling behind that front, yeah, we're going to see, of course, that rain switching over to snow. And we'll keep some scattered snow showers through the evening. Once we get into early tomorrow morning, a lot drier, but overall not expecting much in terms of accumulations around the dusting or coating of snowfall in most spots. And that's really it. For those of you who maybe see a little bit of that snow trying to come off of the Great Lakes heading into early tomorrow, this is where those totals could be a bit higher. Then for your Thursday, we see a mix of sun and clouds, highs in the 20s for most locations. For Friday into Saturday, adding in some more of those snow chances as we see a couple of waves moving through our area for that time frame. So for your Friday, we are going to be starting off the day, especially towards sunrise, with that snow coming down. Then we'll be drier towards Friday afternoon. This is why we're able to rebound into the 30s and 40s for highs. And then another wave, another low moves through for Saturday. This will bring additional snowfall into our region then. And by Sunday, we are going to be talking about some pretty cold temperatures, waking up to temperatures in the single digits and the low teens across most of the region for Sunday morning, only climbing into the low to mid 20s for highs by Sunday afternoon, and keeping things pretty chilly for the beginning of next week. And here we go again. Yet another system showing up towards next Wednesday, trying to bring us some more of that rain and snow. And then again towards next Friday. So a pretty active pattern now set up across the area. So grab those coats. You are going to need them quite a bit over the next 10 days.
For sure. Thanks. New this morning, 2 Indiana school districts are giving students a chance to stay up late Monday night to watch IU football play in the national championship in Miami if they raise enough money. Administrators in Monrovia and Lanesville have promised students a 2-hour delay if they meet fundraising goals. Monrovia Community Schools wants to give $2,026 to the Special Olympics, and Lanesville Community Schools' goal is to give $1,820 to Riley Hospital for Children. Students in both districts have until Saturday to donate. And then a 9-year-old wrote a letter to Governor Braun saying, just make every school a 2-hour delay.
I think the parents would get on board with that because they don't want to wake up early either.
Absolutely, yeah. So Hoosiers might need to break the bank if you want to go see IU play in person in the national championship.
Yeah, starting prices more than $3,000 a seat, and that's just for the nosebleed section.
Crazy? Wow.
Yeah, those ticket prices go as high as $20,000 to sit at the 50-yard line on the first level. However, you could find prices start to fall a bit as we get closer to game day.
9 times out of 10, prices come down as you get closer to the event. Sellers put up a really high price. Most of them don't sell at those prices. It's very tough to sort of commit to going to Miami without a ticket. And that's what you're seeing, though. Resellers are sort of taking advantage of that fear by being able to charge a really high price.
Monday's national championship game is scheduled to kick off at 7:30 at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. We know IU fans travel well, though, so
they do.
I'm sure they'll find a way.
Yes, and if you don't want to travel and you're in this area, IU Fan Assembly Hall in Bloomington is hosting a watch party Monday night starting at 6, but you do have to get tickets. The future Mid-City Mall is starting to become a little more clear.
You'll hear who will be working alongside the family-owned property to redevelop the space coming up on Sunrise Extra.
Amazon plans for its upgraded virtual assistant Alexa Plus to do more than just play music. At the annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas last week, Amazon executives said they're hoping the new Alexa will have better memory and remember things about you, like your favorite restaurants, and offer to book you a reservation. Those who sign up for early access to Alexa Plus can also chat with the Amazon's assistant on the website and continue to have conversations on other devices, including Amazon Echo and the Alexa app. Airline Allegiant trying to acquire Sun Country Airlines. Regulators and stockholders still have to approve this cash and stock deal. Allegiant values it at $1.5 billion. It says the merger would enhance flexibility, rewards, and destination options for passengers. Allegiant is domestic, but Sun Country also flies to Canada, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean.
An Atlanta-based development firm plans to work with the owners of the Mid-City Mall to re-envision the Highlands property. Branch Properties of Atlanta specializes in development and operates multiple public stores around the U.S. The firm's website says they're set to develop the property alongside the mall's current owner as a joint venture. Mid-City Mall was put up for sale in November of 2024. It's currently home to a Value Market, a library branch, and several other small businesses.
The Louisville Zoo looking to add some new faces to its team. They're hosting their yearly job fair coming up on Saturday, January 24th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Both seasonal and full-time positions are open. They're available in admissions, animal departments, front desk, membership, the splash park, and more. Employees also get some perks, including free zoo admission, free parking, and discounts at the zoo gift shops and food concessions. You can learn more about requirements for positions in this story on wave3.com.
The Speed Museum will continue its free Sundays through March. The attraction says the extension is thanks to generous donors. The Speed Museum says it's working towards a new admission model for Sundays, but it will not turn away any customers because of finances. It also offers free or reduced admission prices for those who are receiving food assistance. Oxmoor Center is adding a popular fast food brand to its culinary lineup. Mall leadership confirms Shake Shack will be coming by the end of this year, but they haven't shared an opening date just yet. It'll be just like the second Shake Shack in the Commonwealth. This will be, the other location is in Lexington. There's another Shake Shack scheduled to open in the Jeffersonville Town Center in southern Indiana as well. That sounds so good. I'll have to try it.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. Breaking this morning, we're working to learn more after a car crashed into a Louisville restaurant early this morning. Here's a live look right now at the scene. Very active. This is a Rally's located at 22nd and Broadway. MetroSafe says at least 2 cars were involved. We reached out to LMPD, waiting to get more information about the crash to see if anyone is hurt. As soon as we get that, we'll share it with you right here. But you can see police still on the scene of this Rally's. Here is meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and we're starting off with rain.
Yes, we are. We're watching a lot more of that rain gradually moving further into Kentucky, and it will continue to move to the south as the morning goes along. So what we're dealing with in the metro, that light to moderate rainfall still going on. Some more of that rain stretching from Carroll County all the way into Breckinridge County and south into Adair County. So as we head over the next 12 hours, notice our rain chances do drop off. We will be a little bit drier as we get towards lunch, but then we get into the afternoon, another front moves through that. This will bring in initially rain showers that will switch over to snow, and we'll see some more of that snow showing up for later on this evening. Temperatures right now are in the 40s, but we will fall down into the 30s for later on this afternoon. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much at 7:28. We are keeping our eyes on a traffic alert that we want to pass along to you. We're talking about the area right here where we're showing at 264 East. This is the ramp to Dixie Highway. Reports of a 3-car crash coming into our newsroom just within about the last 10-15 minutes. Again, that's 3 cars involved at 264 East, the rampway to Dixie Highway. No reports of injuries in that area, but certainly watch your speed as you head out. Otherwise, not looking too bad on the big map. We do have a little bit of a backup down around the Fern Creek area. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Make sure to buckle up and make it a safe morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks so much for sticking with us here for Sunrise Extra. It's, of course, basketball season. We'll have some of the highlights from U of L's heartbreaking loss last night. Still dealing with some injuries. I know a lot of U of L fans really struggling with where they are at this point of the season. Plus, it is almost time for the Winter Olympics. We'll talk about that. And then we'll also have some updates from Minnesota on the protests that are happening there over ICE issues. But we start with something that has dominated our headlines in recent months because this week actually marks 10 weeks since a UPS flight crashed, killing 15 people, including the 3-person flight crew and 12 people on the ground. Yesterday, we got our first opportunity to get a tour of what's left behind there at the site. Wave News reporter David Mattingly gives us a very special look at this.
Two large wreaths sit in a gravel lot on the property of Grade A Auto Parts. They display the names of the people who died here in the fiery crash of a UPS jet.
We did locate victims on both sides of the road. And then, we found 10 on this side of the road to your back, and then we found 3 on this side. And then there were 2, obviously, that unfortunately passed away at the hospital.
Just real quick, the next spot that we're going to go through is this lot right here.
Metro Emergency Management Executive Director Jody Myman is our guide for our first look at what remains of the mile-long path of destruction left from that night 10 weeks ago. Even people who have been here multiple times say it is a lot to take in.
There's a sadness, but humbling. I feel sorry for the families that lost their loved ones. But there is some sadness out here, but also there was a lot of teamwork and effort to help get normal life as normal as it can be for us back.
Driving down Grade Lane, it's hard to believe that 4 feet of oil once covered this part of the roadway, some of it on fire. Today, plastic sheets and barriers line the roads as part of the environmental remediation. All along this short journey, we are constantly reminded of how much work there still is to do. Even here, we have crews collecting debris and removing contamination. Pieces of the aircraft have been removed, but stacks of scorched and rusted metal remain. The sounds of heavy machinery is constant, with no end in sight to a complete recovery. When will the work be done?
We don't know. That's a standard thing that I know I've said, but we just don't know. We want to make sure it's done right. We don't want to rush anything. We want to make sure that everything's done correctly.
And it has been 10 weeks since that crash. This is the first time we had access to the site because of what officials called safety reasons. But I can tell you, I flew out of SDF just a couple of weeks ago, and depending on your direction of takeoff, you can look down out of the window and see that burn mark that it left on the earth. And it is just heartbreaking to see what was left behind there. A Jefferson County judge dismissed the murder charge against a man after they found he was defending a woman who was being threatened. Nathan Short was charged with murder after shooting Nicholas Wedding in May of 2024. Short's lawyer argued he was defending a woman who Wedding was living with and was justified in shooting. His defense attorney says the woman came home and found Wedding in their bed with someone else. A fight broke out, and the woman ran to her bedroom to lock herself in after Wedding threatened her. The judge ruled Short was defending the woman from harm when he shot Wedding. We'll learn more about Indiana Governor Mike Braun's legislative priorities tonight as he is set to deliver his 2026 State of the State address tonight. He'll deliver that speech to a joint session of the General Assembly at 7:30. Governor Braun is expected to comment on affordability, road funding, and public safety. Indiana's lawmakers have already proposed more than 500 bills in this year's session. Metro Council Republicans say they're making progress on policy goals set within their Safer Louisville plan. The plan was announced last September and included 18 initiative proposals. Some of the goals included funding programs for flock cameras, stopping illegal ATV use, and placing streetlights in high crime areas. Republicans say they have completed 6 of the initiatives. Minority Caucus Chair Anthony Piagentini says one of those initiatives was cracking down on human trafficking.
We passed a comprehensive anti-human trafficking ordinance. That is going a long way to stop the scourge of human trafficking here in Jefferson County. That ordinance was a huge effort, well over a year in the making.
2 new initiatives have been added to the proposal. They include unlicensed charitable donations and retail theft in coordination with the Attorney General's office. For years, LMPD has been working to manage the capacity of their impound lot off Frankfort Avenue. Last year, the Wave troubleshooters revealed that vehicles have been stolen from that tow lot. Now there's a new plan in place, which they're hoping will be a long-term solution. There are currently 1,300 cars in LMPD's impound lot, which officials say is too full. That prevents city officials from picking up abandoned and dilapidated cars that sit on Louisville streets. City leaders are partnering with a national firm, Vehicle Management Solutions, or VMS, to operate and modernize the tow lot.
A more efficient tow lot will allow us to process vehicles more quickly, improve our communications with community members who need to get their property back, and ultimately provide better customer services to residents.
Mayor Greenberg says this partnership will help LMPD officers spend less time operating the tow lot and more time dedicated to solving crimes around the city. Mayor Greenberg says he also wants the state to approve more funding for TARC. It comes as TARC prepares to cut roughly 12% of routes this summer amid funding shortfalls. TARC is considering raising fares to help stabilize the agency's finances. Mayor Greenberg says the public bus service is crucial to the city.
And when I became mayor, TARC was financially insolvent. It was ready really to go under. It was out of money. It was using one-time American Rescue Plan funding money to fill 25% of its operating budget. That was not sustainable. And so thanks to the leadership of Ozzie and the board and others on the team and new folks that he's brought in, TARC is now headed in a really positive direction. It might not happen this session, but we'll continue to work on it year after year because I do believe that public transportation is incredibly important.
Fare changes to TARC are not set in stone yet. Right now, a single ride costs $1.75. That hasn't changed since 2012. The proposal will bring the cost of a ride to $2.25 and increase other options as well. If approved, the new fares would start this March. And there will be several meetings starting next week to get public input on the proposed rate increase. The first is Tuesday, January 20th at Shively City Hall. 3 more public meetings will follow. Riders can also share feedback online, and we have much more details in this story on wave3.com. We'll be right back. Well, some sad news here. Civil rights pioneer Claudette Colvin has died at the age of 86. The Claudette Colvin Foundation says she'll be remembered for her sharp wit and her strong conviction in justice and human dignity. Colvin was just 15 years old in March of 1955 when she was asked to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus to a white passenger. She refused, leading to her arrest and charges of assault and battery of an officer, disorderly conduct, and violating the bus segregation ordinance. Colvin's defiance did not grab the nation's attention, though. It would be several months later, on December of 1955, that Rosa Parks made that same decision on a Montgomery bus. Parks' actions prompted the Montgomery bus boycott. The Justice Department doesn't believe there's enough evidence to back a criminal investigation into the ICE officer who fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis. The announcement from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche came after at least 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned. They were facing pressure from the Trump administration over the shooting last week. A source says the prosecutors were being told to focus their investigation on the actions of Good, her widow, and others who may have been involved in ICE protests rather than on the officer's actions. The Department of Homeland Security has defended the ICE agent, saying the shooting was in self-defense. Minnesota's governor says the video of the shooting shows Good never threatened to hit the ICE agent with her car. Meanwhile, tensions continue to rise in Minnesota a week after Renee Good was shot and killed. Violent battles between anti-ICE protesters and federal officers broke out in St. Paul. You see the officers deploying flashbangs and what appears to be tear gas as protesters shout and confront them. Protesters say the shooting was not justified and they want federal law enforcement out of their community. It's still unclear exactly how many arrests have been made during these latest clashes. Iran's judiciary chief is signaling fast trials and executions for those detained in nationwide protests. It comes despite warnings from President Donald Trump. The president made his remarks during a speech to the Detroit Economic Club in Michigan. The protests in Iran began several weeks ago over economic conditions in the country. Human rights groups estimate the government has killed at least 1,800 protesters.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting. Take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way.
The president did not specify what he meant and what role the United States might play to stop the protest. Today, Governor Andy Beshear will visit a new dispensary before its grand opening tomorrow. He'll visit Speakeasy Dispensary in Lexington, where medical cannabis card holders will experience a horse-themed lobby. And when your name is called, a sales rep will guide you through a hidden door that plays off the Speakeasy theme, and you'll walk into the sales room floor. More than 17,000 Kentuckians have been approved for a medical cannabis card. While operations to kickstart the industry are still moving forward, the manager there says there are already many products to choose from.
There's a lot of pressure from the industry operators to get product on the shelves.
When the doors officially open tomorrow, only products that come from the flower of the plant will be sold. You are not legally allowed to smoke medical marijuana. You can find a list of dispensaries across the Commonwealth on the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program website. This week, the American Cancer Society has released its annual report on what to expect in 2026 when it comes to cancer cases and death rates. Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and explains why experts say there's still more work to be done.
First, the good news. In a new annual report, the American Cancer Society says cancer deaths continue to decline in the U.S., largely due to less smoking, earlier detection of cancers, and improved treatments.
We've made more progress in the treatment of metastatic cancer in the last 20 years than we did in the history of mankind before then. So we are making real progress.
But there's bad news too. In 2026, the organization projects more than 2.1 million new cancer cases in the U.S., along with more than 626,000 cancer deaths. Lung cancer remains the leading cause of those deaths, killing more people than colorectal and pancreatic cancers combined. Those are the next two deadliest cancers.
We've seen a 5-time improvement in overall survival for metastatic lung cancer patients, but only at 10%. So while there's been great improvement there, there's still a long way to go.
Disparities also remain. Alaska Natives and Native Americans have the highest cancer death rates. The organization says that's largely driven by lack of access to care, as well as environment and lifestyle. Black women are also less likely to survive breast cancer and are more likely to be diagnosed at a later stage and have poorer outcomes for endometrial and uterine cancers. The U.S. continues to see rates climb for men with advanced prostate cancer, and Black men are more likely to be diagnosed and die from that disease.
There's still a lot of work to be done.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. William Dayhut with the American Cancer Society says it's also important for the U.S. medical community to prioritize for cancer survivors because the disease impacts a patient's day-to-day life, social connections, finances, and their needs in light of those, and they aren't always met. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some headlines in sports coming up in just 2 minutes. We are getting you ready for the Winter Olympics by highlighting some of the athletes who could be competing for gold. Chloe Levins, get this. She is so talented with everything. She could have been a professional golfer, a neuroscientist, but instead she found a different calling that involves skiing fast and shooting accurately. She's going to the Olympics for it, as Eli Rosenberg shows us how it could be Levins' ticket to the Winter Olympics.
And go.
To be this cool under pressure. That's it. Your heart racing a million miles a minute. With success only coming from the ability to lock in, you have to find an inner peace. One Chloe Levins channeled not in the snow, but on the golf course.
Since I was 2, I had skis on my feet. But since I was 2, I also had a golf club in my hands.
Levins, the product of a mom who was on the LPGA tour and a father who was a ski racer. Far different physical sports, yes, but the mental aspect, a natural crossover.
Target's huge.
For this Rutland, Vermont native.
It's the cerebral aspect, it's the training, it's the, muscle memory, the training of your mind and that stillness that I completely gravitated to from the very beginning.
And who can argue with the results? The 27-year-old won 2 state championships in golf in high school and was a 2-time captain, 2-time conference champ at Middlebury College, all while majoring in neuroscience, as one does. In addition to all of that, neuroscience and pre-med, that all wasn't enough?
Yeah. I had this dream of being a neurosurgeon from a really early age. And not that dream is dead, but it definitely has evolved.
Evolved because as good as Levins is in all of that, she's even better on the snow. Representing the United States at 4 world championships. Levins shooting, her aim, a difference maker. The challenge is mounting, though.
There were a lot of times in my journey where adversity kept me from competing and training. I had disordered eating habits. I had long COVID. I had mono. I had an ovarian cyst that I needed surgery for. Just understanding that I get to do this, it's not something that I have to do, allows me to operate from a much more still place.
A new perspective, and the results sure have followed. After narrowly missing out on 2 Olympics, Levins in her best position yet.
I think it would mean the most to my family and the little girl who thought that she needed to control everything. It would mean.
Wow, talk about someone who is well-rounded and talented right there. And once again, Waves, your official Olympic station, will have full coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan and Cortina, starting with the opening ceremonies. That's happening on February 6th. Looking now to basketball, because Louisville fans waking up disappointed this morning. U of L men's basketball back at the KFC Yum Center, looking for their 2nd straight win, hosting 16th ranked Virginia. This was going to be a tough one, especially U of L still playing without freshman star Michael Brown Jr., still dealing with that back injury. The start of this one, not friendly to the Cards. They saw themselves down 14-0 early. U of L tried to make it competitive, though. They were only down 5 at the half, but a 7-0 and an 8-0 run pushed Virginia's lead to 13 at one point, and they never looked back. That final score, Virginia 79-70. The Cards have now lost 3 of their last 4 games. They've only won 3 of 7 without Brown, so we are hoping he has a recovery and Presidents can see him back out there on the court soon. All eyes may be on the football team, but Indiana men's basketball was back in action, looking to bounce back after their loss to 10th-ranked Nebraska on Saturday. The Hoosiers were on the road at 12th-ranked Michigan State last night. IU started the game off well, taking an early 17-10 lead, but the Spartans clawed back. They took a 7-point lead into halftime. The second half started off back and forth when Lamar Wilkerson scored to tie the game at 53. But that's when Michigan State took over, scoring the next 19 points of the game, ultimately winning it by a score of 81-60. IU will host Iowa on Saturday at 2 p.m., trying to bounce back from back-to-back losses. And UK men's basketball will look to continue to rebound after a slow start to the season as they travel to take on LSU tonight. The Cats started conference play 0-2 for the first time since 2006. That team went on to finish 9-7 and was an 8th seed in the NCAA tournament. Since the first 2 losses to start SEC play, the Cats knocked off Mississippi State Saturday by 24. The Tigers, on the other hand, they started off their season on fire, winning their first 8 games, going 12-1 in non-conference play, but they have since started SEC play winless after 3 games. Tonight's tip-off is at 7 p.m., and you can watch that on the SEC Network. Well, thinking about baseball already, Cosmic Baseball will be touching down in Louisville twice this summer after Game 1 completely sold out. Due to popular demand, the Cosmic Takeover Tour will be adding another game to their schedule. Cosmic Baseball is a glow-in-the-dark twist on America's pastime. The added game is Friday, June 19th at Slugger Field. So to get tickets, you can join the Cosmic Ticket Lottery by visiting chilipeppersbaseball.com. That looks so cool. I'm sure it's fun to watch, but as a former ball player, it looks dangerous to me, so I would not be stepping foot on that field. Thanks so much for joining us here for Sunrise Extra. Hope you have a great Wednesday.